know the ABCs of basic first aid? Well, it's skills that we must have, and I'm gonna walk you through it right now. As a self-defense practitioner, I know being able to put a hurt on someone is very, very important, but knowing how to heal someone, even yourself, is also just as important. And so we're gonna walk through what I call the ABCs of first aid. And really what it does is it goes more than just ABC. It goes A, B, C, D, E, F, all right, and that's where we're stopping right about there. But if you remember that, it will walk you through exactly what you need just in a basic first aid kit. I know so many, there are so many companies out there that sell kind of pre-made first aid kits, and those can be very, very helpful. But I think if you walk through these letters right here, you'll pretty much accomplish what you need to get accomplished in forming a really good basic first aid kit. All right, the A stands for air. And when someone is hurt and someone's injured, I don't care if you're coming up on a car accident, maybe you're in a car accident yourself and you need to tend to someone. If you're doing some outdoor activities, whether it be rock climbing or mountain biking, whatever it is, we can find ourselves in an accident, some kind of injury that needs to be tended to. The A stands for air, and for air what we have is we have a tool called the nasopharyngeal airway. This is just a tube that can be inserted down someone's throat in order to open up an airway to get them breathing again. Next thing we're going to move to is what's called B. When you talk about breathing, breathing is very, very important. Now think about if someone gets a gunshot or something like that and they have problems breathing, we need to seal up that hole in them. How we seal up that hole is we can just simply use duct tape. I know there's some chest kind of compressions or seals that we can use, but I find that duct tape is very, very important, not just to have in our case or our kit for that, but because duct tape can lend itself to fixing so many different things right there. Next thing we want to move on to is what's called circulatory. That's it, is obviously C. We have circulatory, we have a handful of different kind of tools that we have right here. The first thing is a tourniquet. Knowing how to use a tourniquet is very, very important. But then also having gauze, and not just any old gauze. You want blood clotting kind of gauze right here. And I have a couple kind of examples that we have right here, but having those kinds of gauze to, once again, stopping the bleeding is very, very important right there. I also have some powder that we can use. Spraying that powder over cuts and wounds to stop bleeding is very, very important. And then also having just shears right here. Whether we're going to use clothing or some other kind of cloth, we might need to cut ourselves some kind of cloth to take care of those kinds of areas that may be bleeding as well. All right, we have the A, we have the B, we have the C. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the D, E, and F. The D, E, and we put together for dehydration. Making sure that we have water on ourselves is very, very important, and also having electrolyte packs, it can be just as important as well. So making sure we have these in our first aid kit, ultra important. Last but not least, we have F. What does F stand for? It stands for fire. Why? Because we need to stay warm. We have a survival blanket right here. We also have means of making a fire. But the other thing that I always want to make sure that we have in our first aid kits is never assuming that we're always going to have adequate light, or even that injuries happen in daytime hours. So making sure that we have something like fire that can give light. Think of it that way. We have a flashlight as well. So going through these all, once again, we have taking care of air, taking care of breathing, taking care of the circulatory system, dehydration, and also fire as well. If we have the tools to make sure that we cover all of these right here, I think we can fit these in a small pack. Make sure that we carry these on our persons on a regular basis, especially when we're doing activities that an injury can be, let's just say, a lot more probable, a lot more possible. Therefore, if we're in outside activities, if we're maybe off-roading, I'm a pilot, so every time I go flying, I make sure that I have this in the plane, because if I have to set my plane down somewhere in emergency, I want to make sure that I can take care of myself, but also take care of injuries as well. And last but not least, I'll just say this: if you're a parent, you need to make sure that you have this stuff readily available to yourselves, not just having it in your home, but also having it in your car as well. And that is a great way not only to remain safe, but also keep others safe around you as well.